This episode of the Off-Road Podcast is sponsored by Warn, Colby Valve, and 4Patriots.
Off-Road Podcast, episode 436, Reversible versus Irreversible mods.
Tonight, Aaron gets fluffy, Coy goes wheeling in a snow cone, and Ben hits the books.
Welcome to the Off-Road Podcast, a podcast about everything off-road. We cover the news, review products, and interview people in the off-road industry. Your hosts tonight are Aaron, Coy, and my name is Ben, and welcome to the Off-Road Podcast.
It's good to be here. Thanks for asking.
No, I don't care about you guys anymore.
So I gotta know, Ben, did your kids dig another hole in the yard and you fell down and hit a book? What's going on with you?
No, I'm on my final stretch for my CDL Class B, and so I'm to the point where I actually am confident in my test, the pre-trip, which is, Coy, you'd say that's the hardest part of the whole test, right?
Pre-trip app, I'd say yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and as being someone who's very dyslexic, it took me a while to get it down, but I got it down to where literally I was helping one of the guys that's started after me that's training. I was helping him today with his pre-trip, and I'm like, hey, this is where I do this, because I break stuff into sections and all that. And he's like, oh wow, that's handy. So yeah. And then outside of that, that's been about it. I've just been studying. I'm getting ready to the van's going into the shop tomorrow, so that I can actually pull the 4Runner. Once it's fixed, I can pull the 4Runner. I'll just move the trailer out of the way and pull the 4Runner in here. And I'm going to do some work because we got some really gorgeous snow up here this weekend. My buddies were out wheeling in it. It looked fun, and that bug hit me, and it's not November, so I can go wheeling.
You said you're putting it in the shop. That's not wheeling.
Well, I have a few things I want to get done before I take it wheeling. Like I've decided as a temporary solution, I have a spare 17-inch wheel that I can throw my slightly damaged tire on as a spare. That'll get me off the trail. It's just got a little bit of sidewall damage, so it should hold air just fine. That way I can...
We're going to have glue tread on next week. They can tell you how to patch all the sidewalls.
That's probably a really good idea for me, just because, usually though, when I have the sidewall go, it just explodes.
Well, it's because they're 17-year-old tires that you bought used from a lady who only took her JK to the grocery store and back once a week.
Exactly.
And maybe church
in Arizona.
Yeah.
I didn't even realize how fast we sailed through No Wheel November for you, Ben. Like, it wasn't even... Did you even wheel in September? Like, this was not a challenge for you this fall.
It was not. Ever since I lost that wheel, I just haven't really been wanting to go because I don't have my stuff together. Like, I don't want to go without a spare tire and be that guy. I really don't want to be that guy. So I'm already that guy when it comes to breaking down.
You already were the guy that didn't have his lug nuts tightened enough.
Exactly. So why worsen it anymore? So I don't know. I'm just trying to get on top of stuff. And
I say you get that 4Runner in your shop and you practice your pre-trip inspection on your 4Runner like every day. You come home from work, pre-trip that 4Runner.
Check those lug nuts for loose, broken, bent, or missing. Check your tie rods, loose, broken, bent, or missing. Just go through it.
Yeah,
all those suspension parts.
Not
sway bar missing.
Sway bar missing. Good. Shocks not leaking. Good. And that's another thing. I put on those Falcon shocks. I'm just not really happy with them, like on the road, which means off the road, I'm not going to be happy with them either. So I'm considering. Well, I mean, if I don't
what
like
makes
them on the road, they've got a sag to them on one side, whereas my other ones with spacers did not. And
Can you flip sides?
I could probably flip. I don't know what springs are on there.
But they're not the same springs that you're using on the
no,
other
they're
one.
not. No, but they're factory springs.
I would absolutely say it's your springs. Oh, they're factory springs?
Yeah, I believe they're factory springs. So I might have to just flip sides.
So on most Toyotas, that's why everybody talks about the Toyota Lean and stuff, because there's more weight on the driver's side. There's usually the driver, your entire fuel tank's on the driver's side, your batteries on the driver's side, etc. So from the factory, they actually have a slightly higher spring rate on the driver's side.
So they're probably just wrong side.
Obviously, aftermarket stuff, it's always just in even 50s or 25s. So that's why a lot of lifts lean. And you have to get a little spacer. But if those are factory springs, I actually would try swapping them. There's a pretty good chance that you just have.
And I was planning on taking the front end apart anyways to put, because I've got to do the rack. And if I remember correctly, I have to drop my front diff. So yeah, who knows? I'll figure it out. If I decide to do that this winter, I might just save it because it's not causing me any problems right now. It's not binding it like it was, so it might just fully go. I don't know. Send it.
Is that a common Forerunner problem for the racks to go out?
It's weaker than it could be better, especially when you have bigger tires. And my snow runs have and up against rocks, pushing against them on accident. Yeah, I'm not the best owner of my vehicle, so
I was gonna say definitely. I know the rock crawler guys do replace some racks, but I mean yours just has a lot of miles on it. Like it's okay if it goes out after it's been wheeled for that many miles. So
yeah, I'm at 250,000 miles. So if it's gone out and needs replaced, it's I'm gonna do it probably in the spring if I don't do it now.
I worry though with replacing a rack that you can get the steering wheel out of alignment, possibly break a clock spring, things like that. I know I've heard that happen with Nissan guys.
That's just because they're stupid.
No, it's an alignment deal.
Oh,
so if you don't get that rack,
if they don't do it right, well, I've done a rack. It's not too bad. I'm experienced enough in a rack to do one. I've helped someone replace their Toyota rack. It's not too bad.
Okay, all right.
Are the Toyota racks like alignment adjustable? I thought they had like a spacer system to lock it all in.
They've got it's all locked in, but as long as you keep your steering wheel straight, and then there's a bolt you have to unbolt for the steering wheel, the steering rod
shaft,
the shaft to come out of. As long as you do that and the steering wheel doesn't shift, you're pretty much good. And so there's a little bit of adjustability in it, but it's not too terrible as long as you do it right. My biggest problem is going to be any rust that's on that is going to be fun. So I'm not looking forward to that, but I'll figure it out as it happens. I'm not too stressed about it.
Gotcha.
What about you, Aaron? Did you gain a few pounds getting fluffy?
No, I got some insulation for my shop. I found a guy on Facebook Marketplace selling insulation, so I need like 11 or 12 bundles of insulation for my shop, and it's $135 a bundle. So if I needed 10 bundles, that's $1,350, and I need like $1,500 worth of insulation. I found a guy selling insulation for $50 a bundle. Had to drive an hour and a half to go get it, and he only had 7 bundles, but that's a huge discount. That's almost like a third of the cost. So, and it cost me $27 worth of gas to go pick it up. So totally worth it. So I can start insulating the shop and start putting up. I think I mentioned a week or two ago that I got some plywood If I didn't, I got some plywood from my shop so I can sheet the walls as I insulate it. As soon as I get the back corner done, I can start putting my cabinets in, my workbenches in, things like that, and I can start moving forward with bringing stuff into my shop and actually setting it up. So super excited about that. I've been kind of stalled out on the shop project until I could get this material, and I've been looking on Craigslist and Facebook Marketplace for a long time for insulation. Actually just had a company Christmas party, and I got a $200 gift card to Home Depot while I was there. I'm like, finally I can buy some insulation with that. And then that next day I looked on Facebook and found insulation for cheaper. And so yeah, instead of getting basically 2 bundles of insulation, I got 7.
Nice.
Eric says the asbestos stuff is really cheap. No, this is legitimate Owens
I'm sure
Corning
you could
insulation.
find somebody online with like a U-pull asbestos insulation. You just come remove it, take it to your house.
There is a guy south of me by an hour, Grand Ronde area, and he's selling insulation that was pulled out of a building that he says is in really nice shape, and he wants half the price of what they're selling it at the stores. And I just can't justify buying used insulation for only 50 cents on the dollar. It's got to be a lot cheaper than that.
I've seen a handful of people with that, and I'm just like, no, I'm in that same thing. I'm looking for insulation right now, and there's a guy that does pole barn stuff near me, and he quoted me $1,300 to do the whole shop. I gave him dimensions. He's like, oh yeah, I've got enough for that. It's $1,300. I'm just like, yeah, you say you're real cheap. And I'm like, no, maybe not. So,
I mean, technically, if he's insulating it and it's being done for $1,300, oh, he's just providing?
Just providing.
Oh, and your shop is a lot smaller than mine, so his prices are not cheap.
Yeah, it's the pole barn, like the big rolls of it, like they use for your roof, or you use for your roof. So it's that stuff, but big rolls of it. So, yep, I was like, yeah, no, I'm good. I'll find it someplace else.
Yeah, absolutely. So, other than that, I took my Nissan for a drive just to. I did that recovery class with some friends a few weeks ago, and my tires were just caked with mud, and so I waited for it to all dry, and then I took the Nissan out and cleared the lugs so that I can now drive it in. I didn't want to drive it into my shop with really muddy tires, so I wanted to clear the lugs, and so it's back. But now I can't drive in the shop because I've got the tent and the pooper tent set up in there because they were drying out from my Nevada trip from all the moisture. So anyways, yeah, shop is moving forward. I'm super excited about that. Now I just have to have time to go out there and do it. Coy, you did some snow wheeling, huh?
I did a little snow wheeling. Me and a buddy ran up to Lolly Lake on Sunday. We should have went Saturday when it was dumping snow. It was raining super hard Sunday, and we're like, well, hopefully we can get above the rain. We were well above 4,000, just pouring down rain in the snow, but made super interesting. Yeah, a guy driving by me got a little close.
Wow.
There's a couple inches there, so I backed up and we got no contact, but just barely. No fault of his. It was just that it was as we're driving up, I was on the radio with my buddy, and I'm like, look, man, I'm not saying this is the worst snow I've ever been in, but like I can't remember ever wheeling in worse snow. It was just a snow cone. Like it was so slushy and in a lot of spots like 8 inches thick.
Oh, that wet.
It was wet, melting, and raining. And then like I had some videos, but I didn't download any. But there would be tracks in the snow with 4 inches of water. Like you could do like 10 miles an hour, and there was so much water in the tracks. Like it felt like a constant water crossing. Like the underneath of my truck is like straight media blasted from all the water and slush blasted. Like it's so clean. I wish there was something I had to work on right now.
It all washed it clean and clean stuff off from just getting hammered.
Yeah, it just looks great under there. I was looking under it today, like, man, I wish I had some project. I'd do it right now. But yeah, it was fun though. Like the snow was horrible, but sometimes just a different condition is fun to wheel in. So we went up and messed around the lake, found a little spot for the kids to sled for a little while, and yeah, even the lake, I don't know if there was ice on it or if that's just slushy, kind of frozen snow on there. I wasn't going to walk out there. Regardless of whatever it is, I'm sure I would fall straight through. So yeah, I gotta do a little early season snow wheeling, even though it was absolute trash snow. Worked out okay. I had fun. Spent the day doing that.
Did you hear about Hawaii getting hit with snow?
No, where'd they get snow at?
They got on the Big Island, on the big volcano that's there, the top. So the island's volcano. At the top, they got like 6 inches of snow, which is not very common for Hawaii to get that much snow in one big dump. I was like, oh, it'd be a good time to be there to try and do a little snow wheeling in Hawaii. How many people can say that?
Well, over here in the Northwest, we got that Pineapple Express going, so that means weird weather, basically.
Oh yeah,
so
it's gonna be an interesting
that as well, but we for sure do.
Yep.
I got one more thing I was just remembered. I got, just as of tonight, I got all the stuff packaged up for all the winners from our Christmas gift guide. I got it packed up. I had it kind of packed up, but I ran out of packing tape, and then haven't had a chance to go get packing tape. I finally got packing tape, then I didn't have time to package stuff up. So I'll get this stuff shipped out. It won't be tomorrow, but it'll be Wednesday or Thursday. I'll get your guys' packages out. So you should see them early next week.
Speaking of which, as well, our countdown video people that sent in pictures, I reached out, got all of them their addresses, and Krista actually shipped those FRN patches out today. So
nice.
Yeah. Thanks for
Most
reminding
of them.
There's 2 that are international, and I'm going to talk to them.
Okay.
So, but those are getting shipped to me so yeah.
This Week in Review was brought to you by 4 Patriots. Have you ever been concerned with the shelf life of the food you take camping? Since you're a listener of the podcast, we know you at least keep some emergency food stashed in your rig. 4 Patriots sells a variety of survival food and equipment that pair great with the off-road and adventure lifestyle. 4 Patriots set up a special page for you at 4patriots.com/FRN so that listeners of the Off-Road Podcast can see this week's discounts and deals before they go away.
Thanks for listening, Nick.
Yeah, I actually, just going off of that, I had a lot of comments from guys that I was messaging back and forth with, that they appreciated it and how much they loved listening to the show and all that. And when I was getting those comments, it was just like, oh, that's like, you are real people. We're not. Sometimes it's hard to beat interactions out of you guys. I'm just saying. I'm not holding it against you.
We also want to thank our sponsor, Patriot Patch. Head over to patriotpatch.co and check out their selection of great patches, shirts, cleaning mats, signs, and stickers. You can also join the Patch of the Month Club for $15 and receive a patch, matching sticker, and artist proof each month. Boom. There we go. Holding it up on the screen.
All right, so I need to run out to the shop, right?
No, you just stay right where you're at. You can participate next week. Also, Coy, you probably don't have any. Ben, I'm sure you do. But Patriot Patch made some patch ornaments a few years ago, and every year they've been selling them in the store. And we decorated our tree yesterday, and I hung up 5. I think I hung up 5, and I took a picture of it and I sent it to Jake. And when I zoomed in on the picture, I could only find 4, but I got at least 4 of his patches hanging in the tree. So it's kind of fun. If you're looking for some Christmas themed patches, head over to Patriot Patch.
Have tire troubles ever left you deflated? Colby Valve has got you covered. Ever have a valve stem leak? Colby Valve makes reusable and easily replaceable valve stems that don't require you to remove your tire from the wheel. They work with your off-road rig, ATV, side-by-side, commuter vehicle, or even your tractor. Never be left stranded again because of a busted valve stem. They also have a tire repair kit for those punctures that keep you away from doing your favorite thing, wheeling. Make sure to check out colbyvalve.com or ask for them at your local off-road product store.
All right, guys. Should we jump into our first article here?
Let's do it.
Yeah.
So this article comes from Motor Trend. The Camp 365 is unfolding the future of truck bed campers. So AWOL Outdoors, AWOL Outdoors. I'm not sure. I'm assuming it's AWOL, but I'm reading it, not hearing it, so I don't know for sure. The Camp 365 is a unique towable camper trailer with an extremely compact footprint. The whole thing is certificatedly unflops from its aerodynamically triangular shape and creates a palatial tent palace with 96 square feet of living space. Tow small, live large, and the theory isn't hard to understand. Camp 365 now has reworked and shrunken this camper to fit in the bed of a pickup truck, transforming it from a towable trailer into a fold-out, slide-in truck bed camper called the T model. Likewise, hauls small, live large, and isn't hard to understand. In its compact, foldable, excuse me, I lost my place here. In its compact, foldable travel mode, the T model measures about 4 feet wide and 7 feet long, although at that length, it'll overhang shorter beds, even with the tailgate down, lacking the standard cab over section and permanent box of a traditional slide-in camper. The T model is a low profile and aerodynamic enough to tackle drive-ins, parking garages, and other low clearance areas. It weighs in at between 700 and 800 pounds, depending on your options. That's actually pretty respectably light, isn't it?
That's
Yes.
really light.
Yeah.
You would actually be able to put that in the back of the Colorados, the Bisons, I think it is. It's in their limit range.
I think you could put that in the back of a Maverick.
I think about, what are the four-wheel campers? They make like a completely nothing in it, like build it your own one that's like 500 pounds, but you still got to put all the cabinets and stuff in it.
Yeah.
So the payload of a Ford Maverick is 1,400 to 1,500 pounds.
Wow.
The bed length
I'd like
you're
to
going to
see
suffer.
one with.
though.
I'd like to see
It's
one
only
with that much-
54 inches.
I'd like to see one with that much weight in it, just to see what it looks like. 1,500 pounds in a Maverick. It's got to be something
Yeah.
else. Anyways, continuing on. The Camp 365 points out that all the aforementioned attributes of the T model truck bed camper, namely its travel size and weight, make it a great camper option for electric trucks like the Rivian RT1, Ford F-150 Lightning, Tesla Cybertruck, and more, where limiting range loss is important. The Camp 365T easily detaches from the pickup and can be stored separately in a garage or shed, for example, enabling the truck to do conventional truck things on non-camping weekends. Camp 365 says that the drive under, attach, or detach pull-away process takes just a few minutes thanks to a patented mobility system. With its side wings, air quotes, unfolded, which form the floor, and the cabin canopy fully assembled, the T model transformed into a spacious 63 square foot, 9 foot by 7 foot cabin with 6 feet 8 inches of headroom. Camp 365 claims that it has standing room for 12 people. I'd like to see that as well. That's like cloud
I mean,
car status.
if there was nothing in it, you could stand 12 people, I'm sure. Now that's just 4 rows of 3, right?
I can't ever think of a reason for doing that other than like I just can't.
Yeah.
The tiny home sleeps up to 4 adults or a family of 5 via the folding queen, twin, or bunk bed systems. Once inside, the T model has dimmable LED lights, 4 USB charging ports, and 2 DC and 110 outlets powered by lithium-ion batteries. It's solar ready and boasts Starlink satellite high-speed internet, which is cool, and a Wi-Fi booster. The fully electric RV amenities meet the needs of its occupants. There is hot water for showering and cooking thanks to a 12-volt hot water heater and 24 gallons of fresh water. A portable water purification, UV, and carbon filtration system helps filter the water. Also included is an electric heater and air conditioner for keeping indoor conditions ideal, maximized by patented dual-layer air gap insulation. A portable toilet is present as well. And when it comes to cooking, there's a portable induction cooktop that slides out of the nose cone for indoor or outdoor cooking. There's also a sink, faucet, and foldable table for internal and external food prep. The Camp 365 model will be manufactured at plants in Iowa and Minnesota, with production beginning in the summer. It can be reserved now for a $100 fully refundable deposit. And as for the price, expected entry point of $25,000 for this tiny family cabin.
That's not expensive
No.
for something hard-sided.
Yeah, and especially like lithium ion batteries and some of the options, like I hesitate to say that the $25,000 is cheap, but compared to other things, like that seems pretty cheap.
Yeah.
It makes you
I
wonder
want to
what
see it fold out.
it makes you wonder what bed system is going to be in the 25,000 range one.
I also want to know, because as I understand it, the floor, like there's that bottom, basically from the floor of your bed to the bedsides. That's all camper stuff in there, but the floor is like even with the top of your bedsides is the actual floor.
Mm-hmm.
That is an insane ladder hike up into the back of it. I mean, that raises in like an extra 2 feet. You know what I mean?
It's only 4 steps going up there, but those are mighty big steps. I guess it's 5 if you include stepping off the top.
I mean, if you have a lifted Tacoma, like that's a long ways to the ground. I mean, that thing could be
it becomes a
really
ladder and some stairs.
Well, that's on a Rivian, which the Rivian's on 35s, 37s. I
think it's 37s, I thought, but it could be 35s. Maybe it's 35s. Big tires, no less.
Yeah, it's an interesting sleep system, that's for sure.
Yeah. I'm not sure how they say you can sleep 5 people in this, though, because when you look at the interior, here's with just one queen size bed. There's room for a chair in there also. Queen size bed and a chair and a small table.
I'm assuming that there's an option that has a queen size bed and then some bunks or something, and they just
there's bunks and another bed that's not a bunk bed.
So maybe
those are like grown-up sized bunks. Like my tent trailer has an extra bed in it that only a child could sleep in. So it's kind of
not a ton of living space. I really want to see. I want to see how it opens up. Are these sides actually hard sides, or is it fabric?
I think it's a combination of a like, because that's like a dual thickness air core fabric, I believe, with some hard sides to give it rigidity.
Yeah. So I don't know. I'm super curious though. I find it really interesting. 800 pounds is quite light. I don't know off the top of my head, but some of those campers that go into dualies, I believe, are upwards of like 2,800 pounds.
Yeah, they're heavy. But I mean, they come with everything and the kitchen sink and
and they overhang the front, the back, the sides.
Yeah.
So
not for me, but I'm excited to see one at Overland Rally or someplace. I think it'd be cool to see one. So
yeah, I agree. Well, our next news article, I got this one for our listener Eric Ewers. It is the 2024 Honda Ridgeline Preview, now with 100% trail sport. So if you guys don't know, the trail sport is like it's totally equal to Toyota's TRD Pro Unlimited Off-Road, 100% equal. Like Trail Sport, TRD Pro, they're just the exact same packages all the way around.
Are you waiting for us to jump in there? It's Trail
I'm
Sports.
totally lying.
Trail Sports
totally
is a
lying.
great up. Honda Motorsports is the same as TRD. It's HOMO is what their initials are
on the motorsports.
on the Motorsports.
No,
So if you have the HOMO edition,
yeah, the Trail Sport is more of like a badge and some other doodads. So let's find out about it. So the 2024 Honda Ridgeline is getting Trail Sport treatment along with a number of key interior updates for the entire lineup. The suspension gets unique spring rates, damper valve tuning, and stabilizer bars. So they actually did some stuff to the suspension. It's got some general grabber AT Sports, which are the same all-terrains found on the Honda Passport Trail Sport, but they are different than the tires that are on the Honda Pilot Trail Sport. So they've got 3 different Trail Sports at least going on right now. It gets a unique grille insert complete with pewter gray finishing. Also special to the Trail Sport, 18-inch wheels and a lower fascia garnish. It's got a unique paint color only for the Trail Sport called Diffused Sky Blue, which it's unique to the Trail Sport, but it's also on the Pilot and Passport Trail Sport editions. That's a lot of sports coming out of my mouth there. Here's where it gets really good. This is the important part. Ground clearance remains unchanged. Thank you, Ben. And the article I pulled this from says ground clearance remains unchanged from the already lifted Ridgeline. So I didn't know these things were lifted. They're factory lifted, apparently. While torque vectoring IVT M4 all-wheel drive system is so good that Honda left it alone also. So they didn't give it any more off-roady electronic wizardry because it's so good. I've never used it. I don't know anything about it. Maybe it is so good it can't be improved upon. And then it says that the entire 2024 lineup, not just the Trail Sport, gets Ridgeline stamped into the dual action tailgate. So huge font. Is there a rear? Yeah, here we go. There you can see Ridgeline stamped in that tailgate. Pricing is not available.
Oh, go ahead.
Let me fit one more line here. Pricing is not available at the time of writing, but we do know that the 2024 Ridgeline will begin arriving at dealers in December, which December started 3 days ago. So should be any day now.
Right.
Thank you, Travis.
For both of you guys, you both like Mavericks, right? Ford Mavericks, cool little truck.
Yeah.
But we all hate Ridgelines.
Why is that?
Is there any what Ridgeline's been out there doing what the Mavericks been doing for what, 8 years? Like they've been around a long time.
I bet it's been
Ford
15
made a baby
years.
truck. It's so cool. And we're like Honda Ridgeline. Like it's the same thing.
I'm sorry. It's just when I hear, it's a unlifted. Well, it's already lifted because it's Trail Sport, but I don't know. It's
but Honda never really marketed these as like an off-road truck.
I'm sorry. That's not marketing for off-roading.
Yes, I get they have a picture of it driving through water. I guaranteed we can find one of a Maverick or of a TRD RAV4 hybrid doing the same. Like, you know what I mean? Honda wasn't out there like, hey, this thing's a hardcore off-roader.
No,
okay. You want my 2 cents?
Yes, I do.
Okay. I feel like Ford has pushed the Maverick as a small pickup truck for city duties, where Honda has pushed theirs as a real truck to do real truck things in, which you can do some real truck things in, but like not all real truck. It's a unibody. It's not going to have the towing or the payload. It's not going to have the 4-wheel drive prowess.
I got to call you out on this, though, Aaron. Give me one example where Honda pushed it as a real truck.
If they didn't, than everybody else has. Maybe
Yeah, but like
that's just
we all
society
know
is
it's not a
putting
real
us-
truck. But when they
Yeah.
came out, they were the only truck that wasn't a real truck. So we have unabashedly trashed Ridgelines for years, and now there's the Santa Fe or Tucson,
Santa Cruz.
whatever the Santa Cruz, Maverick. We'll probably have a Toyota one, and Honda's still getting trashed, and we love all these new mini trucks. What a bum rap for Honda. I don't know.
It is a bum rap. Maybe I hate on it because everybody else does, so it's just so much fun to be part of that crowd. I do believe that the Ridgeline is a great truck that gets amazing fuel economy for a quote unquote truck. It has amazing ride qualities because it's a car. And it's going to work great for most people who live in the city who don't really need a truck to drive around as a truck.
I think the Honda Ridgeline, the Maverick, those are the trucks for the majority of people that drive trucks that don't haul or do any truck stuff. Their version of truck stuff is I can haul my friend's furniture, but I'm not going to pick up the phone.
Yeah, it's grab a couple bags of bark dust, pick up an order from Home Depot, get shelving, go to IKEA,
go tailgating.
Those are great trucks for that.
I think why we all hate the Ridgeline is because it's a Honda. Like everybody with a truck, the first thing they made, at least think the little Honda with its fart can, you just think Honda Civic EG hatchback, crappy street racers, little kids, and then they make a truck, and every truck I was like, absolutely not, no, and then that's just where that sits.
I honestly wish Honda put more into their getting into the off-road market. It seems like they've been trying to hit it harder with their whole trail sport stuff.
I'm almost positive Honda won like a stock or a close to stock class in Baja on their first generation ones, didn't they?
Yeah, they did. They won a Baja 1000 with one of their trucks, but I don't think it was stock. I thought it was a trophy truck with Baja cladding or Ridgeline cladding on it.
I'm looking
too.
Alexander Rossi. Let's see. Yeah, it was back in 2019.
This article from Autoblog in 2021 says Honda Ridgeline takes 4th consecutive class victory at Baja 500. And this is not a Honda Ridgeline. This is a trophy truck.
I've got the picture coming up.
Yeah, but to be fair, is any trophy truck isn't any like.
Well, yeah, it's like the what was that? The Broncos that just ran at King of the Hammers last year. That's like saying they're factory Broncos. No, they're not. They're modified, and that's cool. And they did awesome, and they look great. And they could definitely take some abuse, but it's not a factory Bronco.
Yeah.
Hang on. Okay, I found what I was thinking of. Back in 2008, Honda Ridgeline gets first place in mini stock class in Baja 1000. 2008. Like it was like right after they came out, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, it's a weeb file.
Yeah. 779 Ridgeline was successfully piloted by Honda race driver Gavin Skilleton, who completed in the off-road endurance race in 21 hours, 22 minutes, finishing with an average speed of 29 miles an hour. The Ridgeline Baja race truck is a relatively stock pickup with the exception of a heavily abused front and rear suspension, custom King shocks. The custom King shocks are bolted to the stock McPherson strut and multi-link rear end.
I think this is a production part of the reason also why the Ridgeline gets a lot of hate, and let's see here where Travis pointed out here in the comments. it's based off the Honda Odyssey minivan. It uses the same chassis as the Honda Odyssey. It's a minivan. It's a redneck minivan ute.
I would rather see a minivan off-roading.
I'm going to self-burn the daylights out of myself right now on this 2008 one. The 2008 Baja 1000 turned out to be a full-blown battle in stock mini class, even though there were only a few competitors. Much of the race for first place was between the Ridgeline and Ryan Millen in the Toyota FJ Cruiser with only a few miles. Well, only a few miles from the finish line, the FJ Cruiser was knocked out by a boulder that ripped out its front end. Following the Toyota's knockout, the Ridgeline got stuck in door height silt until a stock full-size Dodge Ram dislodged the Honda. From there, he made his place to a first place finish. And I'm pretty sure Ryan Millen is the unknown brother of, or son or something, of all the other Millens, Rod Millen and
Ray Millen,
Reese Millen, Steve Millen, all the fast New Zealand drivers.
Yeah. Josh, I'm not understanding your comment. It says, I've seen that Ridgeline in person. It shares the same engine block as a Ridgeline.
I think he's talking about the one I was talking about.
Okay.
Or maybe he is talking about the Baja one.
It could be, yeah.
Or the full one. I mean, all they have to do is hang a bunch of massive turbos off of it.
Yeah. Yes. That's definitely not the minivan chassis that this one is based off of. So, I mean, back when I did have a Honda Odyssey and the Ridgeline was using the same chassis, I did look into parts interchangeability to see how difficult it would be to lift my wife's minivan with Ridgeline parts. I think that'd be pretty sweet if you could just bolt them in.
How fun would it be, though, when you're racing in the Baja 1000 and you beat in a air quotes Ridgeline, to talk to every other driver, be like, man, must suck to get beat by Honda Ridgeline.
Oh, dude.
Like, forever after that, somebody be talking trash. You'd be like, hey, remember that time back in 2023 when I beat you in a Honda Ridgeline in the Baja 1000? Yeah, I remember that too. That would be great.
Yeah.
Well, I guess we've beat the heck out of the Honda Ridgeline for a little while, right? At least for this episode.
It's not like we haven't done it enough over the last 13 years.
That's a good point. Yeah, that's a good point.
Go prepared with Warren Industries. They produced the first recreational winch in 1959 and lead the industry with their dedication to quality and reliability. When you dig yourself in deep, make sure you have the right tools to get yourself out. Get Warren equipped and go where others can't. Now, let's get ready for adventure and head into our main topic.
All right. Tonight we are talking about reversible mods, irreversible mods. We're going to kind of go through. I'm just going to start off with what makes mods reversible. So basically bolting on with factory fastener locations, replacing factory parts, easily removed, and the factory part can go back on if, like you're saying, doing a bumper, removing parts and leaving them off. Sway bars, cough, cough.
Yeah. Or, stuff like shocks and things like that. They're easily removed. You put the OEM ones back on if you wanted to. I'm not sure why you'd go back to OEM, but stuff like that. So the reason, or some things that are irreversible, would be mods where you are cutting into, modifying, splicing your wiring harness for lights or ECUs or all manner of things. Using cutting tools to trim clearance or cut material.
Or
drilling or hammer. Oh, that's true. Yeah, you did some hammering on the Beetle.
Yes, I did.
Clearance.
If you look at the cover art, I put some tools that were for both sides of that one.
Drilling through body panels or frame modifications. Those would Josh says I've done most of those things to my truck. Those would be mods that would be irreversible. And We'll talk a little bit later. Nothing is completely irreversible, but yeah.
Functionally irreversible. I mean, as long as you are good at metalwork and have an English wheel and a hammer, technically you can remake an entire car. Like you can still buy a frame from manufacturers and frame swap it, I guess. But we're talking within reason. All right, and why would you want a reversible mod? Resale value on a more stock vehicle is oftentimes more, so you kind of want to, maybe if you're selling it, kind of tune it back down, get it a little closer to stock. Or your vehicle's a lease, so you need mods that you can kind of easily turn back. Like I've actually known several guys to have leases that they start modifying, and you have those irreversible mods. Sure, you put a winch bumper on it and then you take it in. Not only did you pay for that winch bumper, when you turn it in, they'll charge you like a chunk of money because you did something to it. And then obviously OEM reliability, always something maybe you decide to go back to. Personally, for me, no.
I mean, you can see the picture of his FJ Cruiser behind Coy.
Yeah. That's actually about what my wiring looks like. I'm terrible. My wiring's a fire hazard. I'll get it right. Like I'm embarrassed to pop my hood just because of my wiring.
Well, Aaron, at least between the two of us, we know our vehicles aren't going to burn down. Coy, if yours catches fire, it's at least we know it's because you're bad at wiring.
They're not going to burn down.
That gets me even with stock Jeeps. Like, so, you know, ask Coyote Works, you know?
Yeah. And we still got to get him on the show.
Oh, let's go through some reversible mods. Let's start with the most obvious ones: tires, wheels, wheel spacers. Those really bolt on, take back off. I mean, the way to reverse it, though, is to still have your old wheels and tires. So you've got to keep those kind of things with you. Lift kits, easily can.
In the comments.
Fast forward to Ben's Toyota on fire.
Burn.
No, literally, I'd just be like, burn. I'd just TikTok that one. I'd just be like, burn.
Let it go.
Would you do like the TikTok dance in front of it, like that lady with her baby in the incubator? Like do a TikTok dance to explain what's going on? Have you seen those?
Oh my goodness.
No.
And then there's all these guys stitching it where it'll be like a dude hanging off a ladder, and the dude's doing like a TikTok dance to explain how he fell off the ladder and broke his neck.
No, it would be the ASMR video of me walking around my 4Runner and be like, Toyota. Crackle, 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 crackle.
Crackle,
yeah.
crackle. Snap. Toyota.
Lift kits easily reversible to the fact as long as you keep that factory suspension parts, springs, shocks, control arms, links, though you might have to buy some OEM parts to replace some of it if it's worn out when you do it.
Do you guys know anybody who's gone back to factory?
I know a handful of people that have what they did, like with their Jeeps, was they were going to trade it in and get a newer model, like a JK to a JL, and they traded someone their factory suspension for that lift kit plus some money.
Yeah.
And then they did it at one of their houses. It's very convoluted. Sounds like a pain in the butt.
I've known several guys that totaled their vehicles and then needed to get all their mods off of them because they just wanted to buy another one. And then they're either putting their stock stuff back on or trying to find guys with some stock stuff, you know.
Yeah, because they won't let you take that off.
And then I knew a guy that had a lease that he had modified that he had to put back, or tried to put back as much as possible.
Wow.
Most winch bumpers, there's a handful of them that are not.
Mark in the comment says that peel off wheel paint and body wrap. So what's that spray paint called? Plastic dip. Plastic dip, yeah.
Yep,
Duplicolor plastic dip. Yeah.
Sway bar deletes. Just rebolt that back on. Takes a little bit sometimes, as long as your bolts didn't break when you took it out. I wouldn't know.
This next one's up my alley, and Koi, you might have to explain yourself on this one. So Koi put snorkel on the reversible mod list, and I remember doing my snorkel, and I borrowed a 6-inch hole saw and plowed right through the side of my fender
Ditto.
with a 6-inch hole saw. I did not save that piece of metal to like tape back in.
It's okay. You can use top ramen and epoxy. I watched it in a TikTok video.
Yeah.
No, that is the one nice thing about doing a fender is you can get on, car-parts.com, look up your body color, paint, buy a new fender for $200, pop yours off. It's going to be 7.5 bolts to pop that fender and pop yours on. So
Yeah.
yes, that fender, you're not putting that shit back in that bottle, but it is fairly easy to get another fender. And if you were planning on going back to stock, I would find one of those fenders, wrap it in bubble wrap, stick it up above the garage or something, and just leave it for when you're going to go back.
Gotcha.
Ditch lights. That's a really easy one. It's just 4 bolts between them usually.
Well, and ditch lights usually are a bracket that goes
Yeah, it's
on the
just a bracket.
underside of a hood. So you're just bolting a bracket to it. Unless you do what the pours do and they drill through the hood and just through bolt it through the hood of your vehicle. Seen that done.
Yep. Stickers. I mean, that's a big.
Mark says anything K&N.
I agree wholeheartedly. The cone filters are just, they're not the best for off-roading, and as the Beetle would be a great example of if you're going through water. My Jeep's first engine would be another great example. Let's see, vinyl wraps, and those don't last forever.
Did you do stickers? Did you do stickers?
Yeah, I said stickers.
Okay.
Vinyl wraps, stickers, really easy come off, just like vinyl wraps. It's going to take you a while. You're going to be picking and pulling and using a heat gun.
Yeah.
But that's kind of the nice thing about a vinyl wrap. They last, I want to say a good one lasts 5 to 7 years, but a lot of them.
What the nice thing about stickers is? Like if you delete, like I had a car and I took the side skirts off and then there was 2 like pinky sized holes in the rocker panel where those clipped on. I just threw some bullet hole stickers randomly and one of them covered those holes exactly. Never could tell. It was that way for 12 years. Like no one ever noticed. I had like
That's
4 bullet hole
hilarious.
stickers.
Josh says to use hot glue to get your ditch lights on. So you could also do a stereo replacement. Say you wanted a bigger screen for off-road navigation, or your speakers are terrible. That usually doesn't involve cutting stuff up.
Yeah,
putting in
tweeters
bigger
in my
speakers.
door panel, so I just run a hole saw through the top corner there
Yeah.
and stick.
Yeah. Well, you can get like a lot of the stereo speaker kits you get now, they're dash kits. It's literally you pull out a piece of trim on your dash and it's got stuff that goes in with your radio depending upon your model of vehicle. It's actually, it looks factory clean. And then speakers, sometimes you just need additional brackets. I believe our Toyotas need different brackets, right, Koi?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm running stock everything on the sound system.
Yeah, I listen to podcasts, not songs. So
yeah,
I don't need anything fancy. I would like to have a different head unit, so I'd have a large screen that could display stuff, but that's about it.
Mine came with a subwoofer and it's like brand new. It's barely been used.
Oh
yeah,
you're blasting metal driving down the road.
Skid plates usually just bolt on in factory locations. You don't generally have to drill for those. There's enough fasteners underneath on the frame that you can attach to. Generally. Same with bolt-on sliders. A lot of times sliders just bolt through a frame Sometimes people drill their frame to attach them. Sometimes people weld them to their frame.
I don't know that guy.
Yeah. Eric says also wiring harnesses for different head units. You can they're pretty slick nowadays. I remember way back in the day people used to cut and splice harnesses, but now everything's almost always
Yeah,
play.
they've got plug-in harnesses.
Yeah.
Um,
Mark's got truck nuts
Yep.
listed here.
the
Josh in the comments. Hang on. Rollovers typically irreversible.
nice.
Generally those are irreversible. I mean, you can cab swap your vehicle. Yeah.
Something that can suck with aftermarket skid plates and sliders is sometimes some of the hardware goes into your frame and you use like a wire pull to get it through. And then that's going to be stuck there forever. So you might leave a bolt in a frame or a nut.
You're leaving a rattle for the next guy to look for the entire ownership
I
of
mean,
that vehicle.
It's all good. I'm all good with it for the next guy.
You know what you do is you drop a little magnet down in there and just they'll find each other eventually.
Eventually, yeah. Aftermarket headlights and taillights. The nice thing is if you damage yours on the trail, that's also one you can get online really easily to replace with your factory ones.
This one I put in here, canopies and bed covers. Those things just clamp on your bed rails for the most part. I don't know if I've ever seen anybody drill to attach those.
Oh, I've seen people drill to attach them. They're terrible people.
Wow.
Dude just wanted to secure his canopy and Ben just dams him straight out of there.
Yeah, it's a C clamp. It's not like a fancy super or J clamp. Or if you've got a Toyota, actually some of them use those.
Is it
those
cheaper than a
rails.
self-tapping screw? Just saying.
No, there's people that use self-tapping screws on them. I've seen it. It's
I'm related to several of those people. I've taken
You
those
just
out
run-
back in.
You just run 10 of those self-tapping screws down each side. It's not going anywhere. You can do 100 miles an hour. It's going to stay right on there.
not going to end up on the side of I-5. You promise, right?
No.
And then we got throttle controllers, those bully dogs and all that. Now, I highly recommend you don't
Pedal
get
commanders.
pedal commanders.
I think
yeah.
Ben has a pedal commander, don't you?
I have a it's not pedal commander, it's a different brand. I can't remember, but I like it for what it is. It just ups the response. It's not improving my gas or any of that. It just my pedal response, because it's not, you're not flying by wire or driving by wire, you're driving by electric crap. So Toyota loves to because grandparents like to drive through the sides of Old Country Buffet. It helps prevent that for me.
I know there's some of them on the drive-by-wire, the ham radio guys that have gotten them. There's certain times when they key up their radio and the truck like idles up and stuff. Like, so they're not. I wouldn't get one, honestly, but if you want one. And then obviously there's
Josh, I think named the brand that Ben has, the pedal submitter instead of the pedal commander. Ben has the Wish version.
His has cauliflower ears.
I also like Mark's comment here. Anyone have kids? Glitter is a forever mod to interiors. My dad bought a car one time that had crayon melted in the back seat, so I've seen it.
Oh, that'd be really terrible to send someone like a glitter bomb and they're in their car opening it. Just,
honestly, dog hair. Once you've had a dog in the vehicle a certain amount of time, it's always in there. You know what I mean? Since you get a certain amount of dog hair in there, that's it. Everyone after that will know that you were a dog, that this vehicle had a dog in it.
We've got black carpet, so we're good.
That's good. Yeah, you're good to go. Then you have, ECU tuners. Any of that is generally reversible unless you count when it blows up your motor. Less.
You blow your motor.
If you're one of those diesel guys, you got a Ford 6.0 and you're like, hey, I'm going for full power here. And then you immediately stretch your head studs. Less reversible. I mean, technically still, you just got to pull the cab off and rework the motor and put it back on. But generally speaking, tuners, you just unplug them.
Yeah, and I know a lot of Jeep guys that run those because they don't want the dash alarm, or at least in the JKs, I had one. It was so like you wouldn't have the low air alert for your PSI being under 32 on your tires, and then like you could turn off the seatbelt alarm for the passenger, because that's really stupid. Well, not stupid, but annoying. There's all sorts of stuff.
Nick Simons in the comments says the aftermath of going to the sand dunes is irreversible. That's not true. Aaron's got new airbags put in almost immediately after.
Yes.
He was able to reverse that, no problem. I don't know.
I think he was talking about the sand, not the airbags.
Oh, I totally was. Yeah. My bad. All right, then we have irreversible mods. And like we said earlier, as long as you have the factory VIN plate and a will, that technically no mod is irreversible, but we're going within reason here. All started out with a baby poop yellow Raptor liner paint on the outside of your 4Runner. It's irreversible. You can't really
It's irreversible.
You can't walk that back. You know what I mean?
No, you can't go back to the factory paint. Once you've put
It's
that
never going to
Raptor
be a
liner on.
maroon 4Runner again.
It wasn't maroon when I owned it. It was camouflaged. So
Yeah,
I've seen your hood popped. It was marooned when it rolled off the factory.
yeah. Oh yeah. It was maroon with the original owner. Yeah, we're talking. Yeah.
So Ben mentioned earlier winch bumpers. The hidden winch bumpers, usually you're doing some cutting and carving and drilling.
Yeah,
if you're winch bumpers in there,
you're cutting your
You're taking
factory
a section
bumper.
Yep.
Sometimes you're drilling into mounts and stuff to add some stuff. Some of the hidden winch bumpers definitely are not reversible.
yeah.
And then
Snorkels is on the list again. This
yeah,
is where
I have it on
think
both
should be.
lists because
Yeah,
I'm saying it's, and kind of like with the hidden winch bumpers, technically you can go get a junk powered bumper in your color and make it back. It's not super difficult. It's not super expensive, but you don't have VIN matched parts at this point. Say that much.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then straight axle swaps. Unless you came with a straight axle swap is it's really hard to go back to an independent. Not sure why you'd want to. Honestly, I've never heard of anyone who tried. Once you sass your Toyota or Nissan or whatever,
back.
All those mounting points and everything you've
Ridge
modified,
line?
steering racks. Yes. Once you've straight axle swapped your Jeep Liberty, it's going to be straight axle swapped from then out.
I kind of want to see a Honda Ridgeline now.
Absolutely. We'll punch it into AI. We'll see what it comes up with.
Could it be worse than a Cherokee XJ? No. Like, it's the same thing.
As long as the tailgate closes, right? That's all that matters.
Well, it closes more ways than one, so it may work.
Twice the options.
Coy mentioned the Raptor liner, so painting your rig or putting some sort of textured liner like Raptor liner, Linex on it, it's irreversible. That stuff doesn't come off unless it's that duplicolor peel off
not
paint
back to the factory. Like if I want to sand all the bed liner off my 4Runner, I can, and I can go back to
spray it with something new,
a regular paint. There's a guy I know who had a Raptor lined 4Runner, and he went back to a shiny flat paint. But that's a lot of work.
So can you just can you really sand off that, or you just get like a brass wire wheel and go at it? Like seems like
you can sand it. It sands at 180 grit.
Oh, doesn't it?
You can sand anything, Coy.
Or 120 grit. Yeah, it's just time and will, man. Time and will.
Mark, I take that personally. Maybe you
Very
just misspelled snorkel because the S and the D are close to each other,
Mark.
but
I
they're
would
not
like
snorkels.
the next time we go towards sand, you go on the trail with us, and I'll give you the show for this is what it's like and why I
He'll
like
give
my
you the Kirby vacuum presentation of why you should spend $4,000 on a
Not
snorkel.
400.
Well, it's Kirby vacuum's like $2,800. So.
Okay.
And I don't know
adding-
why when you said the
Oh.
S and the D are so close to each other, it sounded like the lead up for some terrible joke. I thought you were going somewhere with that before I realized that you had, yeah.
They're right next to each other on the keyboard.
Yeah.
Adding rocker switches to the interior. They're generally on newer vehicles have some extra rocker switch spots, or there's on some upfitter packages, they come with rocker switches that they don't control anything. You get to attach stuff to them, which is really cool. But if you don't have that, you need to put some rocker switches in, or you buy a switch panel and you cut it into some plastic area on your rig. You're
Toyota's
chopping up that interior.
All the OGs just go and get a switch panel designed for a boat and then cut the FJ Cruiser trim up and stick it in there. Like that's how it's done. Like
But
go
it's
up your
hilarious.
trim with a Sawzall.
The hilarious thing is the Toyota owners also have factory switch positions. But I want to say I have 1, 2, 3, 4 available spots for aftermarket switches, which should cover a chunk of useful things. And then, then you need a whole panel for lights, right?
Yeah, I cut in to my Nissan and added some switches. I'm going to pull up the photo here in just a second. So we'll just have to keep talking about this.
Oh, this is Josh Staggs. I thought it was the other Josh that I was spotting when his axle diff grenaded, and I was like, wow, that was painful, bro.
Actually, I'm thinking of Aaron and his dent on his rear fender of the Nissan that has a sticker that says "'Tis but a scratch." Because if your friend is spotting you, definitely irreversible damage will occur.
Here's a picture of the switch panel in my truck. So this location used to be like a coin holder or something, and I chopped it out. I dropped in a 6 switch holder, and actually you can also see I also put in heated seats, so those little rocker switches on the other side too. So just some drilling
plastic factory trim.
Yeah.
Do you like heated seats, Aaron? Just out of curiosity.
I love them.
Really?
Especially when you're a hard worker, like a profession, like an electrician, where you're doing stuff and you're using your back and your muscles a lot. It's just nice to sit in a hot, warm seat to soothe your muscles. I don't get to sit in equipment all day long and talk to other people, just telling them what to do.
Yeah. My wife's car has it, and it just makes me feel like I crap my pants. Like that's all. After 8 minutes, I'm like, did I? I don't know. Why does it feel like I do the wiggle? Like, do I need to find a bathroom? Like that's all it feels like to me.
The trick with that, Aaron, Coy, is you've got to actually have the heating element location up higher instead of at your butt. And it feels like some of the factory ones are. It's like it's your butt and like your lower back, and not high up on your lower back. Body mount chops. I've definitely done that. I've chopped into mine.
Yeah,
Eric,
I went
know
at mine
how
with
to
a
use
right
it.
angle grinder and then returned it to Harbor Freight because it broke.
Nice.
I put this one in here, light bars.
I get
Light
what you're
bars,
going with that.
they have brackets, and usually people put the light bars above their roof. That's the most common place that light bars go. We're
So-
getting away from that now, which is good, but people have to drill and mount those brackets into the roof or the door jambs of their rig, and so you're punching holes in your rig.
A lot of them you drill into your A-pillar, and then you're using some of the time they're using a riv nut. Sometimes they're not, depending upon the kit you get. And definitely That's not really reversible if you've got a drilled A-pillar.
Yeah.
Bed bobs, guys. Not very reversible.
Bed bugs?
Bed bobs. Usually you're cutting a foot and a half out of your bed, and then you're cutting a foot and a half out of your frame. It's pretty hard just to actually make it all look good, much less reverse it, you know?
Yeah. Definitely.
I guess we can do dovetails in there with that. But I think if you're getting to the point of a dovetail on your bed, you know, like we don't need to tell you that that's not really reversible.
Yeah. Some of the antenna mounts, like the ones you see for the CBs and stuff, if you're drilling into your fender or what is it? The like
Roof.
back roof, yeah.
Some people, when they mount their antennas, they just drill straight through the roof so they can have their wiring come into the bottom of the antenna. So yeah, you're punching a hole.
Oh yeah, like cars and
get
stuff.
water.
Those give you the best. I mean, that's the best way to do it. You get an incredible ground plane and whatnot.
Mhm.
And the other upside is that they actually make like a delete little deal that you put in there when you don't want the antenna there anymore. Obviously, there's still a bubble there. But there is kind of like a thread together delete kit, but that's not reversing it. That's just filling the hole, the inch and a half hole that you hole sawed through the middle of your roof.
Yeah,
that just reminded me of something from back in my childhood. You'd get those J.C. Whitney catalogs, and you can order a sunroof kit out of one of those things. And then you whack a hole in the roof of your truck, put in a flip-up sunroof.
Oh, wow.
Moonroof, or moonroof. You could get both.
That's true. You could do a moonroof. Absolutely.
Yeah. Ooh, and that also reminds me of obviously not something we see a lot with our crowd, but like adding like the DVD players in the ceilings and all that, like they have in the minivans. But I've seen people put those in their SUVs for. I'm overlanding. I need to watch a movie while I'm camping. Like
that's what I brought a projector for. Duh.
That's why I bring a projector. I'm gonna if we're gonna watch a movie out camping, it's gonna at least be on a big screen. LED HID headlight retrofits and projectors.
Projector
Aaron.
retrofits. Yeah, I did this to my Nissan. So you take your headlights out of your truck, put them in an oven that softens the that black stuff that holds them together. I can't think of what it's called right now. You pull the lens off of the body. You get in there with a Dremel, and you have to notch that thing to take the projector that you're putting in there and bolt it all together. And now that headlight will not take standard bulbs anymore. So,
to be fair, I feel like you're the last person that's stuck on these HID retrofits. Like we've all moved.
I just heard somebody talking about it the other day on a in a Facebook group, in an automotive group.
All right, well, buds, it
would make sense that you would hear it on a forum because those are also God.
Yeah,
it was a Facebook group, but
all right, you tell those HID fuds to get with the times, Grandpa, and it's time to get some LEDs. Okay,
you're the 1911 owner of headlights.
Oh man, ouch.
Hey, and they're just as reliable as a 1911 too.
I love 1911s.
Trimming fenders for larger tires and / fender flares. I've done this many different ways. Sawzall, angle grinder, sledgehammer.
You can roll the fenders too with a fender roller.
Rolling them.
Obviously, the classic, letting your tire clearance them.
Yeah,
custom.
Totally custom. When we were trimming the fenders out for the stink bug, literally we pulled off the tire, and I grabbed a sledgehammer and I was swinging at the fender well to push it forward or back. Yeah, back a little ways. Just to prevent a little bit of rubbing.
That was the metal inner fender.
Yeah, the metal inner fender, and I clearanced that bad boy out no problem with a sledgehammer. And I've done it actually on my 4Runner too. I need to do a little bit more trimming in one spot with a sledgehammer. A little bit trimming.
That's what you do when you go up 5.5 tire sizes.
Yeah. Yeah, the bigger the tires, and if they're not designed for it, Toyota is notorious for not having big enough fender wells for the big tires that we want. And fortunately, I think the FJ is pretty good on that. Like they gave you guys a good amount of fender well space, but like the Broncos now and the Jeeps, it's like they're ready for 37s.
Josh Staggs says deer, raccoons, moose, and bear are also good for making irreversible modifications. I had a raccoon. I hit one about a mile from where I work in a car. And, it was a good solid thump, and I wasn't happy. And I got to work, and I could see it cracked the front fascia on my bumper. I was like, man, I complained about it, kicked some rocks around, went to work for 12 hours, got in my car, and drove home. And unbeknownst to me, it doesn't say that your antifreeze is getting hot if there's no antifreeze around the sensor. So it had cracked the bottom of my radiator, and every drop of antifreeze drained out. And when I got home, I'm like, man, this thing is running weird. And I popped the hood, my header was glowing. And I hadn't been like, I hadn't been doing like a 24-hour Le Mans race. So I irreversibly modified that motor to the point that I had to buy another one.
Nice.
Yeah, it only cost me like $4,000. It was cool.
Only.
What car was that?
That was my Honda S2000. That was my. That was
I
my.
thought you hit a.
Second motor.
I thought you hit a raccoon with your MR2 like in this past year also.
That was a skunk, yeah, and it did some irreversible modifications too by core support.
Yeah.
Wow. I don't have good luck with these small rodents.
I think you need to put a chin splitter out there, like a razor sharp chin splitter, to just slice them before they slice.
I'm at that point. I'm looking into it.
Yeah. I can help you make one out of cotton fiber.
I think the thing is, I have to make my car lower so that they can't get under it.
So you just need a plow on the front that kind of just throws them up and over, right?
I'm not sure. I need to pay attention when I'm driving, and possibly not swerve at the animals. I should actually go around them or something.
You can get one of those tube bumper protector things that some of those autocross people put on for hitting cones.
The drift guys, yeah, all the armor.
Yeah.
And this is our last one here. And it's a truck guy thing. It's pretty popular in the Toyota Tacoma crowd. Is like a high clearance bed cut. So it's not the back fender, it's the back bed fender, and they'll cut out a section of that and either cut or fold it. And it just tucks it up higher, so you're increasing your departure angle to fit the same height as like an aftermarket bumper. And I've seen actually some 4Runners with that too, but it's not as common.
Ouch, Eric. I don't know if Eric's kind of throwing you shade there, Coy, or if he's just putting that out there. I don't know.
I'm confused. Did I hit somebody's dog and I just don't remember it?
No, but somebody hit your dog.
Oh, wow. That's
dark.
That's something else there. Wow. That's what did I do to you? It's not like that was the dog that I cared for preciously for 8 years and loved with all my heart, then got killed on the highway almost a year ago or 1 month out. So appreciate that, Eric. It's cool.
So Josh in his comment typed moosin, Moosen, and I've never heard of moosin before, and he says it's multiple moose. When I pull that up, Urban Dictionary comes up and it says it's moosin is a weremoose. It's the same idea as a werewolf, but they turn into moose instead of wolves. So I don't know.
I find that more scary than a werewolf. Like moose kill more people than wolves, like not even by orders of magnitude. So a weremoose would be like a weapon of mass destruction. Like it'd take down cities.
it would literally be waiting on the side of the highway for you and then jump out, moo, and rip off the top of your truck and head, and then get up and walk over to the next rig to do it.
Just imagine you're running from a werewolf. That's pretty scary, but like it's silently chasing you. Where a weremoose, like that thing's just going through bushes, it's clomping, way scarier.
Yeah, like a bull in a china shop.
Do you still kill it with a silver bullet? Or do you use like a maple syrup covered one since it's a moose? That's what I need to know.
That explains why Canadians love their maple syrup, right?
All right, guys. Next week we have Glue Tread coming on. So make sure you tune in for that and learn about sidewall and tire repair kits, and maybe Ben can get his extra tire back up to snuff.
Yeah, Ben, we'll have to have you take some pictures and upload the photos so we can ask him.
Yes, definitely. Definitely we'll be doing that now.
Well, thanks everybody. This was another fun episode. It's a lot of fun having you guys in the comments, interacting with us, teaching us what the plural is for moose.
Making fun of
learning about-
people's dead innocent dogs. Their child's pets. Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, that kind of
like
stuff.
We love it.
Learning about your glitter stories in the comments. It's a lot of fun. We do appreciate you guys. Thanks for tuning in. If you want to be part of this, almost all the action is happening in YouTube. A whole lot of fun in there. Check out the comments. Make sure you're sharing us with your friends and help us grow. And God bless America.
Don't forget to visit Patriot Patch and join the Patch of the Month Club. Check out our Gaia affiliate link for up to 40% off. Also, don't forget to head over to Warren Colby Valve and 4 Patriots to see all of their great products. We are a proud part of the Firearms Radio Network. Got a question or comment? Send it to us through our Linktree account or by searching for Off-Road Podcast. Also, you can listen to us live at overlandradio.com Mondays at 7 p.m. Pacific. When off-road, please remember to have fun, tread lightly, and be safe and courteous. Thanks for listening.
Hey,
I think turning a vehicle into a technical in some third world countries might be considered an irreversible mod.
Yeah.